Why does Saturn have rings? What are the different types of clouds? How does an octopus swim? Why does a tiger have stripes? How do flowers grow?
Tell me why. The Video Encyclopedia is a reference work that's designed to show the answers to questions that young people ask. All materials used in this work are based upon the best-selling book series by Arkady Liokam.
What is blood?
Blood is a tissue, and it has a lot of jobs to perform in the body. It must transport food to the body's cells and remove waste materials. It serves as one of the body's defenses against infection. It must also prevent its own leakage in case of injury, and it has to maintain water balance in the body. Blood consists of a fluid portion called plasma and a cellular portion consisting of erythrocytes, which are red blood cells, leukocytes, which are the white blood cells of several types, and platelets. Plasma is more than 90% water. About 7% of plasma is proteins and fatty substances. They include salts, glucose, amino acids, vitamins, hormones, and waste products. Other plasma components are lipids, iron and copper ions, and vitamin B12. Plasma carries antibodies that give immunity to disease. It also transports many waste materials from the tissues back to the lungs. The red in the red blood cells is called hemoglobin. It contains iron combined with protein. It is these red cells that give the blood its color. There are so many of them that it all looks red. These red cells live for 4 months and are then broken up, mostly in the spleen. New red cells are always being formed to replace the cells that are worn out and destroyed. Erythrocytes are red blood cells. They carry oxygen to the body's cells and remove carbon dioxide from them. Leukocytes are white blood cells that have a nucleus and are capable of reproducing. They help the body fight infections. Platelets are the smallest cells in the blood. They are produced in the bone marrow. Platelets have a lifespan of about 10 days. The other red blood cells live for between 130 and 145 days. The birthplace of blood cells is the bone marrow. When blood cells live in the bone marrow, they are genuine cells, each with a nucleus. Before they leave the marrow for the bloodstream, they lose the nucleus. Once this happens, they are incapable of reproducing red blood cells. Red blood cells are one of the types that come from bone marrow. The average adult human has about 9.5 pints of blood in his or her body. In a single drop of blood, there are 300 million red corpuscles. If these cells were joined in a chain, it would go around the world 4 times. Even though the cells are tiny, they have a tremendous surface area. For instance, if you could weave them into a carpet, the total surface area of this carpet would be 4,900 square yards. Since at any one given moment 1/4 of the blood is to be found in the lungs, about 1,200 square yards of blood cell surface are constantly being exposed to the air. Every second, 2 billion blood cells pass by the air chambers of the lungs. Because the air in lowland regions is under greater pressure, it contains more oxygen than at high altitudes. As a compensation, people living in higher altitudes have a higher number of blood cells. A person living in the mountain regions of Switzerland may have 50% more blood cells than one living in New York. Blood circulates because the heart pumps it, and the veins and arteries act as pipes to carry it. Blood with oxygen from the lungs goes through the heart and then to all parts of the body. From the smallest arteries, the blood goes to the capillaries, then into the smallest veins. It flows through the veins, finally reaching the right side of the heart. While in the capillaries, it picks up carbon dioxide and water. Once it reaches the lungs, it releases these things and picks up new oxygen. Now it starts its journey all over again. The heart pumps about 100,000 times a day and pumps about 3,600 gallons of blood in a 24-hour period. Blood moves through the body in our vascular system. In humans and other vertebrates, this vascular system has arteries, veins, arterioles, venules, and capillaries. The arteries and veins are large blood vessels distinguished by the way blood flows through them. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. They have an outer coat of connective tissue. a middle layer of smooth muscles, and an inner coat of smooth tissue. Arterioles are small versions of arteries. Veins carry blood to the heart. They have the same 3 layers as arteries, but are thinner. Veins are not subject to the same pressure as arteries, since they do not receive blood under direct pressure from the heart. Venules are small versions of veins.
What makes blood clot?
If our body is injured and we start to lose blood, it can be very dangerous. Nature has protected us against this danger by giving blood the capacity to clot. Blood does not clot or coagulate when it is in contact with the smooth walls of blood vessels. Blood only clots when it reaches a rough surface. This is what happens when you skin your knee or cut your finger. The first thing that happens is very fine threads of a material called fibrin appear in the blood. These threads form a kind of network to entangle the blood cells like flies in a spider's web. The bloodstream stops moving at this point. The fibrin threads are firm but elastic, and they hold the cells together. A clot of blood is like a piece of absorbent cotton, which nature creates to protect us from loss of blood. Blood pressure is the amount of pressure or pushing on the blood as a result of the heart's pumping and resistance of the arterial walls. There are 2 kinds of pressure, maximum and minimum. The maximum pressure occurs when the left ventricle of the heart contracts. It is called the systolic pressure. The minimum occurs just before the heartbeat, which follows. It is called the diastolic pressure. When your doctor measures your blood pressure, he uses an instrument that measures it by using a column of mercury which rises and falls under pressure. The doctor or nurse will put a wide band around your arm and then pump a little bulb to force air into the band. Then, using a stethoscope, they will listen as the blood moves through your arteries. This tells them what your blood pressure is. Many factors affect blood pressure. Overweight people often have a higher blood pressure than people of normal weight. Tension, exercise, and even posture may affect blood pressure. The pulse is the rate at which your heart is beating. Most people count the number of times a heart beats in a minute. There are several places of the body to check the rate of your heart, but the most common is an area on the underside of your wrist. All human blood is made up of basically the same plasma, cells, and other chemical materials. There are important differences in the protein molecules found on the surfaces of red blood cells. There are 4 main groups, or types, of blood, and every human being can be classified under one of them. The groups are called A, B, O, and AB. An American physician and pathologist named Carl Landsteiner was responsible for the discovery and classification of the 4 main types of human blood. Blood typing is easily done today. In a laboratory or blood bank, a nurse may use a small, sharp instrument to make a tiny puncture in your finger and then transfer the blood directly from the finger to a slide. She then sends the sample to the testing section where the processing is done. If the wrong type of blood is given to someone, the blood cells become clumped together. This is known as agglutination. When this takes place, blood clots are formed, as well as the destruction of the red blood cells already in the body. The one exception is type O blood. The red cells of type O are not agglutinated by any other red cell group. People with type O blood can give blood to those with any other type of blood in extreme emergencies only. If you need blood, doctors can take some from another person and give it to you. This is called transfusion. The person who donates blood goes to a blood bank and has a small amount of his or her blood removed through a needle. After the blood is taken or drawn, it is refrigerated. Blood can be refrigerated for up to 35 days. If the plasma portion of the blood is separated from the blood cells, it can be frozen. When plasma is needed, the correct type is thawed, returning it to its original fluid state, ready for transfusion. After the blood is taken from a donor, it is carefully processed, which is what they call the determination of blood type, as well as screening for any diseases that may be present in the donor's body, including AIDS and hepatitis. Hospitals and blood banks are very careful to check that anyone who needs blood gets just the right type. Before a transfusion, the blood is cross-matched to make sure that the donor and patient's blood are the same.
Is an animal's blood the same as a human's?
Animals have blood that is very much like ours. The main difference is the amount of proteins and the types of blood cells. Animals of one species cannot use the blood of any other species of animal.
What causes a nosebleed?
Doctors call a nosebleed epistaxis. Many things can cause it. If something hits your nose, it might bleed because the small capillaries that bring blood to the nose are very tiny and are easily broken. During the winter, the heat might be turned on a lot. This can make the air dry. If the air gets too dry, the inside of the nose can dry out. When the inside of the nose dries out, it makes the small capillaries very brittle. Blowing your nose really hard when the air is very dry can make these capillaries break and your nose will bleed. In some cases, a nosebleed may be stopped by pinching the nostrils closed for about 10 minutes.
What are vitamins?
The word vita means life. Vitamins are substances necessary to maintain life. These are formed by plants or animals and must be supplied to the body in tiny quantities so that life can function normally. There are many vitamins needed by the body to maintain good health. If you eat a well-balanced diet, you normally don't need vitamin pills. A well-balanced diet generally includes milk and milk products, breads and cereals, vegetables, fruits, and meat, fish, or poultry. If you are ill, your doctor may recommend that you take extra vitamins. These are generally taken in pill form that is sold in many stores. Sometimes people are allergic to some kinds of foods and need to take their vitamins in pill form. Vitamin A is formed in many growing plants. It helps prevent infection. A lack of vitamin A can cause night blindness, skin and membrane irritations, tooth decay, and dull our tactile senses. It is found in milk, egg yolk, liver, cod liver oil, lettuce, carrots, and spinach. If you take too much vitamin A, you can have headaches, bone pain, hair loss, and a loss of appetite. Vitamin B, or the B complex, is at least 6 different vitamins. It is found in milk, fresh fruits, whole grain cereals, and fresh vegetables. Deficiencies of vitamin B can cause fatigue, sores around the mouth and nose, impaired growth, pellagra, and many other disorders. Vitamin C, also known as ascorbic acid, keeps our joints working well, our teeth and gums strong, and our bones strong. Vitamin C is found in the fresh green leaves, the stems, the buds, and the pods of fully developed plants. Among the best sources of vitamin C are oranges, lemons, grapefruits, cantaloupes, and strawberries and tomatoes. Lack of vitamin C can cause blood vessels to become fragile and bleed easily. Black and blue marks appear on the skin and near the eyes. The gums bleed easily. Our hormones and enzymes don't function well. Our resistance to infection by bacteria is lowered, and we may develop inflammations in the throat. One of the diseases caused by the lack of vitamin C is scurvy. A curious thing about vitamin C is that almost all mammals produce their own vitamin C in their liver, and so never suffer from a lack of it. But man, apes, and guinea pigs are the only mammals which cannot produce their own vitamin C in the liver. Vitamin D is important for bone development. It is found in cod liver oil, liver, and egg yolk, as well as from sunlight. Taking too much vitamin D can cause your stomach to hurt and can damage your kidneys. However, a lack of this vitamin can cause rickets, tooth decay, and muscle spasms. Vitamin E is important because it prevents oxygen from destroying parts of the body, like stored fats. Vitamin E is present in bread, cereal, meat, eggs, vegetable oils, nuts, beans, liver, fruits, and vegetables. Deficiencies of this vitamin can cause sterility and neuromuscular diseases. Vitamin K helps to keep the blood functioning well and the liver working properly. It can be found in green leafy vegetables, cauliflower, liver, and egg yolk. The usual multivitamin capsule is made up of various members of the vitamin groups. They may also include some minerals like calcium, zinc, magnesium, and sometimes iron. In experiments on humans and animals, scientists have determined how much of each vitamin we need to stay healthy. This is called the RDA, or Recommended Daily Allowance. Each vitamin is a particular chemical substance. It doesn't matter if vitamin C is in an orange or in a pill. It has the same chemical parts and acts on the body in just the same way. A person eating a good variety of foods gets all the vitamins now known to be needed. Since so many vitamins cannot be stored in the body, they are simply discarded by the body when taken in excess through the diet or in pill form. Vitamins are chemicals that need to be balanced carefully in the body. For most people, eating properly will give us all of the chemicals needed for health. Taking too many vitamins of any kind can make us sick. Some vitamins can even be poisonous if too many are taken into their body.
Why does the body need minerals?
The body is made up of many things, including the minerals we are going to describe. Minerals help keep the body healthy. Sometimes we don't eat properly or become ill. Then the body needs some extra minerals. Minerals are found in the food we eat. A balanced diet will give us the proper amounts. Minerals are necessary in small amounts for many body processes. Iron keeps the blood strong. It is one of the minerals that helps regulate the body's manufacture of red blood cells. Sodium chloride, also known as salt, is necessary to keep the right amount of water in the body. We get sodium in many foods. Salt is an important mineral that helps maintain proper blood volume and regulates pressure in the blood vessels. Too much salt can cause high blood pressure, contribute to diabetes, arthritis, kidney malfunction, emphysema, and rheumatism. Calcium is necessary for healthy teeth and bones, and it also keeps the heart and nervous system working well. Calcium is found in all milk products as well as in collard greens, soybeans, canned sardines, and salmon. Calcium is a substance that is vital in the metabolism, formation, and strength of bones. It helps the body maintain normal blood clotting, transmits nerve impulses, and helps contract muscles. Iodine is necessary to keep the thyroid functioning well. Iodine is found in water, soil, and in fish. Magnesium is necessary for bones, teeth, and many body functions. You will find it in whole grain breads and cereals, dry beans and peas, nuts, and dark green vegetables. Phosphorus is necessary for strong bones and teeth and for good muscle and nerve responses. It is found in milk and milk products, meat, and cereal. Potassium helps maintain a normal water balance and normal cell growth. You get potassium in bananas, raisins, baked potatoes, and oranges. Niacin is needed to prevent pellagra, a disease common in people who don't get enough of the proper food. Niacin is found in meat, vegetables, and whole grain cereals.
What is dope?
Dope is a word that is applied to illegal drugs. It includes drugs not prescribed by a doctor and bought on the street, not in a drugstore. Those drugs are termed street drugs. Illegal drugs cause changes in the body. Among other things, the mental processes may be interrupted, making someone using these drugs appear stupid or dopey. After prolonged use of drugs, the body begins to get used to them. Then the body requires more and more of the drug to get the same high that they once got by using just a little. Illegal drugs are dangerous. One of the most important things about them is that they cause the mind and body to react differently than they normally would. Imagine what it's like to have a big breakfast and then go out and play for the whole morning. As the day moves into the afternoon, you get very hungry. Your stomach almost hurts because it wants food. That's what happens to a body that's been exposed to drugs. It becomes used to working in a different way, aided by drugs. The body demands more of these drugs to work efficiently. Then, unable to work with them and unable to work without them, the body may die. The use of illegal drugs is not a pretty picture. Each time unprescribed drugs are put into your body, the drug takes more control until you are a slave to the drug, thus the term dope. An addict is someone who cannot stop using something even when he wants to. His desire to have it, or his body's demand for it, is greater than his ability to say no. Some people begin smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, or experimenting with drugs because their friends use them. When someone starts using any kind of drug to please his friends, it is called peer pressure. Just remember that a sickness you get from using these things is something you will have to cope with alone. Your friends cannot be sick for you. Anyone who is a real friend will never ask you to do something that is wrong. Remember to always check with your parents before eating or drinking anything if you have doubts about whether it is good for you.
What is caffeine?
Caffeine is a drug that is found naturally in many products, including coffee, black tea, and chocolate. When you use it, it speeds the heart rhythm and increases blood pressure. Nicotine is a toxic substance that is found naturally in tobacco leaves. When used in cigarettes, pipe tobacco, cigars, or smokeless tobacco, it speeds the heart rhythm and increases blood pressure. This is because it causes an increase in the heart's demand for oxygen. Smoking can cause blood clots and heart attacks. It also hurts the lungs and can lead to many diseases, including bronchitis, emphysema, and cancer. Smokeless tobacco has been linked to mouth cancer. Alcohol is a drug made by fermenting different grains and plants. It dries the body tissues, injures capillaries, and can cause damage to the liver. Drinking alcohol may cause you to act differently. Your thinking is the first brain function to be affected by alcohol. This can result in bad judgment. It is dangerous for someone under the influence of alcohol to drive or operate any machines. As soon as your thinking is affected, your speech is slurred. It is difficult to keep one's balance. If enough alcohol is added, deeper brain functions can be affected. Remember, never drink anything without asking your parents. Never drink and drive.
Tell me about harmful drugs.
Marijuana, also known as pot, grass, weed, and smoke, is a substance that comes from the leaves and flowering tops of the Indian hemp plant. When people use marijuana, they act like people who are drunk on alcohol. It enters the bloodstream and acts on the brain and nervous system. Marijuana is never safe. It can jeopardize the safety of users and others. It can lead to psychological dependence and can lead to one using stronger drugs. If arrested, the user could have a police record that may follow him throughout life. Cocaine and heroin are examples of dangerous, stronger drugs. They are both highly addictive and can destroy the body, both physically and mentally. Cocaine, for example, can cause hallucinations, can affect the spinal cord and cause convulsions, and may cause respiratory failure and death. Inhaling cocaine or snorting may cause ulcerations or open sores in the nasal cavity. Crack is a form of cocaine that is very dangerous to use. It is a purer form of cocaine that is smoked and can cause immediate death. Crack is said to resemble slivers of soap in appearance. It is sold in ready-to-smoke form that weighs about 300 milligrams for a cost as low as $10. Rock, or crack, is pieces broken off the solidified form. Average pieces are about the size of a pencil eraser. There are other drugs that are dangerous. They include hallucinogenics such as LSD, mescaline, and angel dust, just to name a few. There are natural and synthetic drugs that have a strong stimulating action on the central nervous system. And there are deliriants, which are any chemicals which give off fumes or vapors, which when inhaled produce symptoms similar to intoxication. Never take any pills unless your doctor has told you that you need it to be healthy. Never touch anyone else's pills. If a doctor has prescribed medicine for one person, it is because that person needs the certain medications to stay well. That medication can help them, but it can hurt you. The human body is a delicate balance of chemicals, minerals, fluids, and tissue. Anything we put into our body that doesn't belong there is dangerous. Unless a vitamin or a drug is prescribed by a doctor, you may have serious side effects or die if you use it. Always say no to drugs.
Tell Me Why, a video encyclopedia series designed to answer the questions that kids ask most. It's a unique tool, a well-thought-out educational project created to take advantage of every child's fascination with video. Tell Me Why turns that fascination into an invaluable learning experience, providing kids with the answers they want and need through a series of 26 information-packed volumes. Tell Me Why. It's the perfect way to turn the family television set into a second classroom. And it's so much fun. It's like taking a field trip without leaving home. Tell Me Why is an innovation in education, with exciting film footage from organizations such as NASA, the National Aquarium, and the National Hurricane Center, as well as an easy style and colorful graphics. Children will want to watch each volume again and again. Quick search numbers have been provided in the lower right-hand corner so that you can fast forward to the section you want to view. This video encyclopedia is modeled after the nationally syndicated newspaper column and the critically acclaimed book series of the same name created by Arkady Liokam. Inspired by questions asked by his own children, Liokam has captivated a generation of children with explanations on a myriad of topics. These volumes, plus many more to come, cover the subjects of interest of our children in our world.